Hello guys and welcome to New Gamer 280. Today we will be looking at some of my favorite moments from Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. I picked 10 of the hypest moments from the story of this nostalgic game, and as much as I would have loved to include the fight with a certain one-winged angel in the list, since it is technically not part of the main storyline, I decided to leave it out, as well as any other optional content of the game, optional bosses and stuff like that. But rest assured, when I finally defeated Sephiroth on Proud Mode, I couldn't contain myself. And I still have PTSD every time I hear those opening notes. I will also issue a very important spoiler warning, so if you somehow haven't played this game yet and don't want the story spoiled, this will not be the video for you. I would like to point out that this list is my personal opinion, so don't get too offended if you don't agree with it. That being said, feel free to let me know your personal lists and opinions down in the comment section below. So without further ado, let's begin. The first entry on my list is none other than the fight against Darkseid. This iconic Heartless is the opening boss battle of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix, and has appeared in many a Kingdom Hearts game. For most of us, it was our very first boss battle in the Kingdom Hearts series, and it will always have a place in my heart. Its slow movements, its easily telegraphed attacks, its spiky hair, and its heart-shaped hole in its chest will forever cement this boss as one of the most memorable in the series. And of course, not to mention the amazing score by Yoko Shimomura. In the number 9 spot lie the Destiny Islands, the starting world of the game. This is where we're first introduced to 3 of the most important characters in the series: Sora, Riku, and Kairi. In the first hour or so of the game, little 12-year-old me was given the reins to freely explore the islands with the waves splashing, breeze blowing, and seagulls crying around me. It was such a serene start to the game, and although I couldn't make out who the weird and creepy potato sack guy was in the secret place, my brain was mostly occupied with winning against Tidus, Wakka, Selphie, and especially Riku. Overall, a solid introduction to the first game in this great series. Let's be honest, the Disney villains in most Kingdom Hearts games are never as influential or important to the overall plot as most of us would like. This is not the case, however, in Kingdom Hearts 1. In fact, the Disney villains are the main opponents of Sora and his friends until the very final act of the game. As a kid first playing this game, I was absolutely pumped when this Knights of the Round Table-esque scene played, with several Disney villains gathered together and actually speaking to each other. Most of them are hidden in the shadows at first, but my young Disney-riddled brain didn't find it difficult to recognize them from their voices. It absolutely boggled my mind that the likes of Maleficent, Jafar, Oogie Boogie, and Ursula were all scheming plots together against Sora, and I most certainly loved it. Both the first and the last worlds of the game appear in my list, but the latter just edges over the former in the impact it had on me on my very first playthrough. The ominous music playing as I explored this truly unique world only added to the eerie atmosphere that it boasts. Not to mention all the creative world designs throughout the place. You also pay a visit to each of the Disney worlds Sora saved along his journey, which had just the right amount of nostalgic feels to make it on the list. Overall, a decent world that bridged Sora's journey so far, and the final fight that ended it. This is the first glimpse brief though it was, of the titular entity that is Kingdom Hearts. Although Ansem called it the heart of all worlds, we don't learn much more about it. That being said, the huge white door towering overhead and the suspense that builds as Ansem beckoned the door to open were enough to put this pivotal moment on the list. And the final realization that Ansem got it all wrong, that we had won, and that
Kingdom Hearts is light!
just builds that satisfaction that every gamer feels at the end of a game.